Hi, welcome to Knits Up. I am Mindy, your hostess, otherwise known as Knitter CNY, and I'm coming to you from the Syracuse, New York area. You'll find show notes, if I do any, over at knitsup.libsyn.com. You'll also find a podcast group over on Ravelry. If you look there, we have about 75 members now. And if you're interested in posting or introducing yourself, please do so in the Ravelry group. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of us. There is a Facebook page and a Google Plus page, but it's mostly just a cross post of when I actually post an episode. One thing that I'm going to do now, because I keep seeing the glare in my glasses, is I'm going to take off the glasses. So if I squint at the camera, it's because I'm very, very nearsighted. So we're doing this blind, basically. Now, if I'm looking at my computer, I can't even see icons. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to show you what I'm working on. I'm also going to show you something I bought, a couple things I bought, and let's get on with the show. The first thing that I started, well, let's back up. Things that I've been working on. One of the things I started was the braid sweater by, don't tell me, Deb Gamel. If you go on my Ravelry page, it was my Hellenic Games Olympics project. This is the back of it, like so. That's the front. It is a cardigan, and the yarn that I'm using is Red Heart Kids in the blue colorway. This is yarn that I bought at Ollie's, which is our local closeout store. I believe it was about $3 a skein, probably less than that, maybe $2.49. And I have 7 skeins, so that's going to more than make this sweater. It's 100% acrylic, but I wanted something that was a really bright jewel tone. As you can tell, that's good with my skin type. And it's a really pretty blue, and I wanted something I could throw in the washer and the dryer. Thought I'd talk about these cables a little bit. They're not really cables. They're slip stitches. Every time you see something going across this way, it's actually a slip stitch. It's not actually a cable. It's a very wide rib. I think it's a 6x2 rib or a 5x2 rib. Might be 5x2. And it's just a slip stitch every few rows. And it has the look of a cable, but it's a heck of a lot easier to execute. The pattern is a little fussy to set up because of the way it runs. It's formatted so that there's 2 columns of text in the pattern, and I've been knitting for 25 years, and it was difficult for me when I did the first sweater of this. I've made this in TLC Caramia, which is an acrylic Angora blend that I bought at a dollar store years ago. It's that beige sweater I wear sometimes. Very comfortable, very warm, almost overly warm because of the Angora content. So I wanted something easy I can throw in the washer and the dryer. I probably have 7 or 8 inches on this. It's going to end up being about 19 inches before I hit the armpit. I like my sweaters just a little bit longer than they normally would be in any pattern. Sometimes in a pullover you'll see about 14 inches for my size to 17 inches, but I tend to like just a little bit of a longer sweater. I like it to hit me right below the hip line, and that's just the style I prefer, so that's what I do. The other sweater that I started working on, and I've made quite a bit of progress on this. Pardon me if I am in the middle of a row. Didn't plan this out very well, but this is the sweater. This is the back of it. I don't know how well this is going to show up. That's the bottom. As you can see, it's a very wide rib to start with, and then it starts to narrow. And basically what happens with this is It's an A-line swing jacket. The pattern itself is called Swing Jacket. It's by Melissa Maffei, and you can find it on the yarnspirations.com website. It was formerly on the Karen website. The yarn that I'm using is Karen Simply Soft Paints. I believe it's the Sticks and Stones colorway, or the Stick and Stone colorway. It shows up brown. If you get closer, you'll see it's kind of a variegated. This is showing up a lot lighter than it actually is. This is sort of a brown, and then it has a gray, a dark blue, slate color, a purple, and then there's sort of a brownish dirt potting soil color in there. So it looks brown from dark away. From dark away. From far away, it looks darker than it actually is. But the idea is with this, it's going to be wider at the bottom, and then the ribbing narrows. There's a couple of decreases, sections of decreases, and then it goes up. This is done, I'm using size 11 needles. I should know what size that is. I believe size 11. I shall look on my handy dandy gauge. That is my gauge ruler. And a size 11 is an 8.0 millimeter. This is for those people who haven't used this, and I think I've shown this before in various incarnations. This is a ruler. This came with a crochet kit that I got, and it's the Crochet Dudes, but one side is also knitting. So the way you do this is you put the needle through the holes. So I started with the biggest hole. Oh, well, it goes through there very easily. Put it through the next hole, then put it through the next hole. This goes through here. It does not go through the next hole above, so it's this one, and that's a US size 11, 8.0 millimeter. Millimeter is probably the more accurate measure if you're doing something. There are sizes in millimeters that don't exist in US sizes. So go with millimeters if you're ordering stuff. This is an Addi Turbo needle. I believe it's 29-inch maybe? 24 or 29-inch, I can't remember. But the reason this is done on such big needles, even though Simply Soft Paints is a worsted weight, is because it is done with 2 strands at one time. So it creates a bulky or a chunky fabric. It's very loose, but it's also very heavy. I've gone through 2 balls up to here. Again, that's 2 strands at a time. And then I'm on the 3rd and the 4th skein up here. So I'm just into that. It's living in a bag, a very fancy Time Warner cable bag. I've got a couple friends that work for the Time Warner call center in Syracuse, and from time to time they get premiums or whatever, and one of them gave me a bag that they had. So I have that. That's kind of cool. The other thing, like I said, I've been working on the Olympic sweater, or the blue sweater, and that's living in the Rhinebeck 2012 bag. That looks like that. It's got the pop art sheep. Very cute. Every time I have a kid in my family or friends, that every time she sees it, she looks at it and goes, bah. And then proceeds to touch each square and go, bah, 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 bah. Very cute. Let's see what else we've got. I've been starting another project. I started this last night or the night before, I think. I think I started the night before, maybe Tuesday night. And I ripped out the toe again. and then I restarted it last night. This is a toe. I'm doing a toe up sock. These are on US size 1, 2.25 millimeter. This is a clover bamboo needle that I had around. That when I was starting Magic Loop, this is what I started with, so the stitches did not fall off the needle. And that's what I had free, so this is what I started the toe on. This is a knit along that was from last year or the year before on knitpearlhunter.com, and they're called the Center of Attention Stocks. They have cables and things in them, but one of the things that I wanted to do was just do the basic sock. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the cables and all of the things that are in that pattern, but I'm using that pattern as a guide to start a toe-up sock. She starts with Jenny's Magic Cast On and has a very clear video. It took me 3 or 4 times of going through it because I'm unfamiliar with toe-up socks, really. I think I'd tried to start one in the past and it was not good. The reason this yarn looks kind of marled is because I'm using reinforcing thread with it. The yarn that I'm using is yarn that I bought last year before. This is Trekking XXL. This is a Skacel yarn. Same people that make Addy Turbo needles. And the color is called Suzanne. It's named after, I believe, somebody that had ovarian cancer. This was an ovarian cancer awareness type purchase. I think they gave part of the money to like research into ovarian cancer. And teal is the color associated with ovarian cancer. And then they basically gave you a little card along with it that has the symptoms of ovarian cancer and a link to the Marcia Rivkin Center for Ovarian Cancer Research in Seattle, Washington. They provided the card. I believe part of the proceeds went to them. This I bought a few years ago, but it's that teal color. It's very pretty. And I wanted to make some toe-up socks, and this is in my stash. The Center of Attention socks actually go along with this. It was like a knit along that Skacel did, I think, last year to celebrate so many years in business or so many years of trekking sock yarn, and they had knit alongs every single month. I think that were all in conjunction with Knit Pearl Hunter. So if you check out her website, which is knit, K-N-I-T, Pearl, P-U-R-L, Hunter, H-U-N-T-E-R.com, you'll find that. She has a couple of knit alongs going along right now. I find her, you know, nice voice, good technique. So I'm just starting these. I'm almost up to, I think, the 64 stitches that I'm going to use. So, but we'll see, because I want to be able to use up sock yarn, and doing toe-up socks might get me there faster. So we'll see how that goes. Let's check. Okay, we're at about 14 minutes. Couple other things. 3 things. I've also been spinning. Let me grab a skein of this. I used an old wrapping paper tube, and just cut it into a certain, just a shorter length so I could wrap this around it. This is Kayuni Pencil Thin Roving, or pencil roving, but it's thin. It's not the thicker one. It comes, I believe it's about 440 yards, and it comes in an oval cake. I bought it off of Etsy. They shipped it from Estonia. This is like last year or something. I believe they still have some up there. I'll try and provide a link to it in the show notes. I may just put show notes in the actual episode thread, might be easier. This is, I don't even know what the colorway is, but it's purple and blue. Let's see, do I have either one of these? Well, I have this one and this one. So, not that that gives you a lot of information. There's purple and blue. This is pretty tight. Let's see if I can pull this off a little bit. Ooh, the whole thing's going to come off. Awesome. Okay. I don't know how much information this will give you, but that's the colorway. It's got blue inside. There's a lighter blue. This is on a, wowzers. It's going to be one of those days where I struggle for words. It's been that kind of a day. A shocked high-low spindle. I spun this high whirl, a high whirl, which is you spin like so. I'm just doing singles of this. I have not set them. I haven't washed them or anything. I may just do them straight off of here. I don't know if I'm going to apply this. Kayuni itself, I don't believe is plied. I have a skein of Kayuni that's 150 grams. That's sort of a brown, gray, beige color, very natural colors that I wanted to make a shawl for Rhinebeck out of. And that was a couple of years ago. It's in the stash somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where. But I had ordered the roving with the idea of, oh, I'll just spin the roving. It'll be great. Well, what I tried to spin with originally was the Luette spindle that I have. Luette spindle. Pardon me as I go out of frame. Luette spindle is this. Luette spindle is very heavy. We've talked about this before. This is about 3 ounces, possibly more. This is less. I believe this is 1.1 ounce. So this is a lot easier. When I tried to spin the Kayuni pencil thin roving on the Luette, it broke every single time because this is too heavy to spin super thin pencil thin roving. When I say pencil thin, I mean it's about as, they call it pencil thin because it's as thin as the lead is on a number 2 pencil. If you're familiar with that, the old fill in the bubble on the test, it's very thin. The kind of yarn that I'm getting from this, I should probably show it. I'm getting this kind of yarn, pretty thin, pretty thin. I haven't used anything yet to see what weight I'm getting, but this looks about a fingering to a sport weight, maybe. So it's very rustic. It's okay. I want it to be rustic. I'm probably going to make a lentilla out of it. Lentilla is a Martina Bem pattern. One of the viewers, and I can't remember which one it was, I'll have to go back and look, but one of the viewers actually gifted me the hitchhiker patterns. I believe there's 3 or 4 of them that are in the series, and lentilla is one of the scarves that has kind of a ruffled edge on it rather than the points like the hitchhiker has, and I was thinking the Kayuni roving would be really nice for that. So I'm going to try and use that. When I'm spinning, I'm not really spinning, but I'm plying. To ply is a really, really rustic, this is the unknown mix of stuff. I bought half a pound of roving from a lady at the regional market about a year ago, maybe 9 months ago, and it's a mix of whatever was in her sheep herd. I think she said there was some thin, there was some meat sheep, it's a whole bunch of stuff, and then it was just carded together. It was in bats. There were thin sheets of stuff. Now I believe that I've spun all the singles, so now I'm just plying. The Luette because it is heavy, is great for applying. What I'm getting, this is kind of loose, and obviously this has not been thwacked or washed or anything. What I'm getting is this. And this is okay because this is what I want. I want something that's going to be able, I'm going to make a hat or something out of it. I have an uncle who does a lot of, not really reenacting, but hangs out with those kind of people that do reenacting, and something that's a natural wool that's just very simply knit, like a hat or something like that, is going to be fit in to that frame of reference. So that's what I want to do. Two things I've purchased. Well, three things. One thing is for a baby that is going to be born. I have friends whose niece is pregnant, and I think she's due sometime in summer-ish, fall-ish. I can't remember exactly when. I got this, which is Red Heart Lolly. It's sort of a chenille. It's a super bulky, a number 6 on the US yarn standards. And the content on this is, excuse me, polyester. It's 100% polyester. It's got these weird little shimmy loopy things every once in a while. I don't know if you can see that. The person I'm making it for, I'm thinking at her aunt's suggestion of making a cupcake hat. The hat that's on here is cute. It's a free pattern that comes with it. But I was thinking of using brown yarn at the bottom so it looks like a little cupcake paper. Wow. A cupcake liner paper. And this would be the cupcake frosting type of thing. And I believe there's a pattern that's already on Red Heart or Coats and Clark that's someplace. And I can't remember who did the pattern, but it's really cute. And I think this will work for that. I just wanted something really quick, so that's good. The other thing I've been working on, this is the project in reserve. I work on it when I get the chance. And I finally finished the actual reflective yarn, which is this, which you can't really tell it's reflective other than if I hold it really, really far back and kind of, I don't know. Anyways, if you get this, it's got reflective material in it. That's what the little flecks of monofilament are in there. And it's thicker than fishing line. Also softer. This is like an acrylic with the reflective stuff through it. That's what's in the ribbing. And then I'm using, and that's a Red Heart yarn. It's Red Heart Reflective. The colorway is black. And then for the stockinette portion, I'm using Patent's Classic Wool Bulky. And I can find nothing about that on the Yarnspirations Patent's website whatsoever. They just have regular roving. They don't have the bulky for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's a configuration that only Joann's carries, but I got both of these yarns at Joann's. So, and the needles I'm using are the Boy Artisan Needles US size 7, which with my handy dandy gauge, I can tell you a US size 7 is, flip the other side, US size 7 is a 4.5 millimeter. And these are wood. I bought these. They're an interchangeable needle. I bought these last year at Tuesday morning out in the Rochester area. So this is the first time using them. It's nice wood, very hard, nice, but very, very smooth. It's very slick. So it both grabs and works very easily. And I also bought a kit. Now I bought a kit off of HSN. There's a reason I bought this. Originally, I saw the original presentation was months ago when Deborah Norville was on selling her yarn and kits. She's created a line of kits, and they come with the yarn, the instructions, the pattern, and the needle. So I thought, okay. And I kind of looked at it and was like, 20 bucks? I don't want to pay 20 bucks. Well, I've been sort of watching, and it got a little lower. I think it was $11.95. And then the other day when I looked, it was 5 bucks and $2.99 shipping. So I was like, 5 bucks? Well, for 5 bucks, you get the complete swirling shawl for Serenity sock yarn. You get a pattern for this, which is basically, I think it's like an alternating feather and fan. It's not feather and fan in a column. I think it's like feather and fan here, and then on the next set, it's offset, is all I can figure. The color of yarn I got is purple. They call it amethyst. This is the Premier Yarns Deborah Norville Serenity Sock, which is a fingering weight yarn. You get 3 skeins of this. And this is superwash merino wool, 50%, 25% bamboo, 25% nylon. I've used this for socks before. It is soft, very soft. And this is how many yards? Tell me how many yards you are. It's 230 yards, 210 millimeters. So it's 150 grams of sock yarn by the time you get done. You add up the 3 skeins. And then you also get a boy, just a regular boy aluminum needle. And it's a US size 5, 3.75 millimeter. And there's also links to her website where she shows how to do the knit stitch and the purl stitch. I haven't really checked that out because I know how to do those things. But even originally at 20 bucks, it would have been okay. But like I said, I was like, I got a lot of yarn. But I liked the pattern. And of course, it sells itself to me when she's wearing the sweater she's made, or wearing the shawl she's made, and they keep the video with the item and the whole bit. So it came complete. It came in about a week, maybe less than that. And like I said, it was 5 bucks, so with $2.99 shipping. So it's really cute. And then there's a darning needle with it too. There's a plastic darning needle. So I think that's a pretty good bargain. There have been a few complaints about the pattern that I've seen in the reviews where like, well, you're marketing this at a beginner and it says cast on, you know, this many, you know, so many hundreds of stitches, and why would you do that, and blah, 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 blah. Well, if you don't like the pattern, you don't have to make this. You can figure out how to make something else. I mean, but at least for the sock yarn part, at this price for 5 bucks for 3 skeins of sock yarn, I'm good. You can make socks with it if you wanted to. So I like this. I like the yarn. It's soft with the bamboo and the nylon and the superwash merino. The superwash is very smooth. The other thing I bought this week, maybe it was last week, was the spring issue of Interweave Knits. This is spring 2014, and it's got several cute things in it. The main reason I bought it was for one particular pattern, and I'm just going to show that one pattern because I think it's pretty. It's this pattern for a cardigan. It's very cute. It's called the Wowzers. Put on the glasses even if there's a glare, because me staring like a crazy person. This is the Zephyrine cardigan by Angela Hahn, Hahn, which is a universal yarn nettle lana, which is like a nettle bamboo mix, whatever. The details on that are really good. I like the lace work here, but basically I might do a cotton yarn or maybe a microfiber yarn or whatever's in my stash. It's got, you know, like cute 3/4 length sleeves, and it's just a really simple cardigan done in the round. I don't believe there's any seams on it. Pretty simple, but it's very cute. It's very classic. There's other things in here. If you check out their website, it'll take you to the close-ups of different things. There's a few shawls in here too that are kind of cute. I'm not really going to show you much out of this. I'm sure a whole bunch of people have reviewed this, but I really like that sweater very much so. Really, really like that sweater. There's some counterpanes and things like that. And just cute stuff. So check that out if you get a chance. I think that's the end of it. I'm at the end. In about half an hour, so we'll stop here. And again, if there are show notes, I'll either put them in the thread or I will put them over at knitsup.libsyn.com. And I hope that you guys have a great week. Go knit something!